Those last 7 days before competition can be all the difference between feeling flat, tired, or primed to perform. I know this firsthand. I've tapered for the Olympic Games, multiple World Championships, the Commonwealth Games, among others. And in this video, I'm going to show you my exact taper protocol that I use, not only for myself, but also my athletes worldwide. Where my most recent athlete, within a week of filming this, recently hit a PB total and qualified for his first French national championships using this exact taper protocol. And you can literally steal this if you want to use for yourself or just read through. I recently published this taper week with added context so you can use for yourself. You can get it for free at the link at the top of the description. Now, the first thing you need to understand when it comes to a taper week is this. You're not building in a taper, you're simply uncovering. Let me explain. By the time you reach taper week, all the hard work is already done. You're not going to get any stronger. You're just removing the fatigue that's hiding your strength at that top end range. And if you're going to be building anything, we're just building confidence as we go into the week before we hit the platform. That's it. And most lifters get this wrong because they don't understand what actually drives fatigue. So let's simplify this. There are only 3 things you're manipulating in a taper: volume, intensity, and frequency. Here's how it actually works. Volume drops hard. Intensity stays relatively high. Training frequency lowers, although it does depend how many sessions you're doing in your regular week at this stage. But overall, the sessions get easier. If you drop intensity too much, you'll feel slow, disconnected, and those heavier weights that you'll hit in competition may feel a little foreign. And if you keep that volume too high throughout this week, you run the risk of going into competition tired and fatigued. The goal here is simple. Feel sharp, not tired, not rusty. Let me show you exactly how I run this. Day 1 of this taper week, which is generally 5 days out from competition, is your heavier exposure day. This is where things will be at their heaviest. You'll be working up to both your snatch and clean and jerk opening attempts for competition here. Although if fatigue is abnormally high going into this session from the week's prior training, then just working up to your last warm-up weights before these openers is fine as well. Now, after we hit our opening attempts, just once is fine. We'll move on to some snatch pulls, 3 sets, 2 reps at your current PR snatch. Now, you should have a good idea of what your openers are going to be at this competition at this stage. This session is essentially just to reinforce it and also not to fall off that intensity completely. Low volume, no misses, no overthinking. You hit these lifts, these 3 exercises, and then you're done. The pulls are there mainly just to reinforce that movement pattern while still keeping some weight moving at the same time, not to build strength. If you start adding more work here, you've already gone wrong. Day 2, which is ideally 4 days out from competition. So you'll have a rest day in between these first 2 days, then hit day 2, which is all about sharpening. This is where we drop intensity slightly. We'll be sitting at around 75 to 80% for our full movements here. We'll be hitting some quality singles for our snatch and clean and jerk, which will serve as confidence builders and also greasing that technical groove as we move into competition. 4 sets total for each, 2 singles at 75%, 2 singles at 80%, no more. Then to keep a bit of structure with the strength work, we'll be doing clean pulls, 4 sets, 2 reps, at your opening attempt weight for competition. Then we'll follow front squats at this same clean and jerk opening weight, 4 sets total, 2 reps in each set. The entire focus when it comes to this session is to feel fast, strong, and technically consistent. And these sessions should feel pretty cruisy. You should leave feeling better than you did when you walked in. If you feel tired and fatigued after this session, you're doing too much. Moving on to day 3 of 3, our last taper session for the week, which is ideally 2 days out from competition. This is our priming session. This is where everything clicks, and we'll be doing power variations this session. Power snatch, as well as power clean plus split jerk. Moderate weights this time, so heavier than the last session. Roughly 80 to 85% of your full lift, which for some may be a high percentage. And if so, another way that you can calculate this is roughly working at an RPE of 7 to 8 for these technical movements. Now we want here no misses, not even close. Everything should feel sharp and convincing. Then after this, moving on to some lighter back squats, just to keep the legs moving. Working up to your opening attempt in the clean and jerk again, 3 sets, 2 reps. No more than this. Now this is important. We're not building anything here. We're just keeping everything familiar and keeping the body going through the motions with some weight in hand. If you're missing lifts in this session, you've gone too heavy. which is not really what we want as we're trying to build confidence going into the competition day. Now, why exactly does this work? Because you're keeping the intensity high enough while stripping away all that volume that's creating the fatigue. And at the same time, we're increasing specificity. More full lifts, less variations. Because at this point, we don't need any more drills. We don't need any more accessories. You need to be executing the exact thing you're going to be doing on the competition stage. And this is where the technical focus shifts at this point in the training block, because earlier on in the training block, you're generally thinking a lot more. You're constantly fixing and changing positions, building technical patterns in a more efficient manner to become a technically better weightlifter. But in a taper week, you stop trying to fix things. No new cues, no overthinking. You just go into autopilot mode. Whatever work you've put in during those previous weeks of the training block should ideally stick here. And then whatever doesn't just becomes priority for the next training block to follow. Now, let's quickly go through where most people mess this up. They do too much and carry fatigue into the competition. They do too little and then they feel flat on the day. They start changing technique last minute. They chase heavy lifts, miss in taper week, and kill their confidence. Then they overthink everything right before they compete. And this is the big one. If you're missing lifts in taper week, then you're doing something wrong. By the time you hit the competition stage, your lifts should feel predictable. You should be confident in your opening attempt. Nothing should be a surprise here. Your taper week doesn't create strength. It just reveals the hard work you did prior. If you want everything that I've gone over in this video plus added context, if you head to the link at the top of the description, you can get your copy of my free taper protocol. So you can then use it for yourself in the next competition. And if you need help applying all this into your own lifting, this is exactly what we do inside the Raising Minimums team program. Structured programming, technical feedback, and a system you can actually trust. Also, if you want to go deeper into your weightlifting, YouTube will suggest 2 videos here that I believe will help you on your weightlifting journey.